Channel quarters, all hands back in battle station.
Broadcasting live on WWNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
All righty. Good morning. Good morning. Somebody's got to help me out today. We got a full house here. We have Susie Gold next to me co-hosting. We have Midwest Mary.
Hey, Mary. Good morning.
We lost Midwest Dick. So we're Midwest Mary. Just
y'all.
Y'all, yeah. We got Midwest Mary. We got Israeli Damon. We got the Israeli Damon, and we got Mark here. We got everybody here today. I'm going to ask you guys, I want a one-sentence answer to this because I am perplexed on the 28th of October with 6 days to go in this election that is so amazingly exciting and everything else. We have 6 days to go at 9:05 in the morning. Tom Trento, your host, WNN 1470. You can watch us or listen to us there. 95.3. Switch around the stations. We thank Brian Craig and Steve Kane for delivering a wonderful audience to us. We got billboards up with those guys on one side. We're on the other side. Oh, Mark, we have to do what we said we were going to do, change it around, but we'll talk about that later on. A lot going on, but I'm going to ask each of you for a one sentence. Is that possible? A one sentence answer, because we got a busy day. Laura's coming up. Peter Feaman's coming up. Karyn, Basle, and Ivanka are coming up in a little while. Then chit-chat, whatever chit-chat is. We got a lot of chit-chatting to do. I am perplexed because one of the most significant investigative journalistic stories in the past 20 years broke last night on Tucker Carlson's show. Tony Bobulinski, how would you like to go through life with the name Bob? Hey, Bobulinski, what's going on? He laid out a material case, at least to initiate an investigation by federal agents, let alone journalists, federal investigative journalists. He laid out a case that that the Gotti, Joe Gotti, the Gotti family with the son, Junior, they used to call him, John Gotti Sr., John Gotti Jr. Junior's doing all this stuff. John Gotti's the recipient of a lot of it. He laid out a case that the Biden family is a racketeering criminal enterprise that most likely is creating or violating treasonous laws of actual treason, let alone immorality and everything else. But I checked this morning, and here's where I'm perplexed, everybody. I checked on the website for NBC News, ABC News, MSNBC News, CNN News, and CBS News. I checked all of those websites to look for their coverage of Tony Bobulinski's first-person testimony like you'd hear in a court, the drama of Perry Mason's court, and not any of those news agencies had anything, not the head, not a subtitle, not a sidebar, not a insignificant story, not one word on Tony Bobulinski outing the Biden family as a crime syndicate family. Susie Gold, one sentence, what the heck is going on?
Well, I think we're making a mistake by calling these news stations. They're not. It's clearly censorship. And also we have to follow the money. Like, who's behind all these networks? And they just want to, anything that is suggestive of a problem with Biden, his family, or that doesn't speak the narrative that they are told to speak, is censored. So they're not news stations anymore.
That's a nice one sentence.
Yeah,
there.
that wasn't
Okay, wait. I'll change it because it's not news as far as they're concerned. They're censoring anything that's...
But you're the co-host. You could have a little
Sorry, I'm a little
Midwest
verbose.
Mary, a little verbose. Midwest Mary, what is going on?
There's not a news station out there that isn't compromised, and I second everything our co-host said today.
In her 25 sentences. All right, Israeli Damon, what's up?
It is a collusion against Donald J. Trump.
All right, Mark.
When you have socialism and Marxism, the first thing you can control is the media and the information. You have to control the information for socialism and Marxism to succeed.
Unbelievable. Look, we got Laura coming up, but I really want to dig in to this in a little bit. Is she here yet, Laura? Because we want to get an update from her.
Yeah, I'm on. Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Laura. Laura, we
Good morning.
welcome
How are you?
we welcome Laura. She's a regular on our show. We love hearing from you. And for those who may be new listeners, Laura is running for District 21 as Congresswoman, and we look forward to her unseating Lazy Lois. And we love hearing from you. We love to hear updates about your campaign. So what first of all, what do you think? I don't know if you were on when Tom asked the question, but why is it that we're not hearing from NBC or CNN or any other mainstream media about, these cases, the laptop and all these suggestions that we're hearing on Fox News?
Because the media is now propaganda. Okay, we don't have news. We don't have journalism in this country anymore. We don't. It's dead. All right, and what you're seeing now is that our mainstream media networks have turned into propaganda arms for various parties, and they're not talking about issues like the laptop. But regardless of the laptop, they're not talking about issues that are a direct threat to the American public, like Antifa. You have one news station telling people that Antifa are domestic terrorists, which they are. Then you have another saying that they are peaceful protesters, right? So it's actually creating a very dangerous situation. And I would say that most of the political violence in our country that we're seeing right now is a result of misinformation from the mainstream media. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that foreign entities own American mainstream media companies. And that's why there's so much division and such an unwillingness to often report on a lot of these scandals that involve, foreign players or foreign interference, because the American media companies and American journalists are getting their paychecks and their bread buttered by foreigners. Just look at Rupert Murdoch, for example. Okay, look at his family. Okay, all of the influence in Fox News. When you look at CNN and you find out that they're doing propaganda for the Iranian government, all right, a lot of Americans have no idea how much foreign influence there is in our media, and it should be illegal, right? Foreigners should not be able to buy into or own American media companies or news companies.
Well, Laura, you of all people. Now, I want everybody to see the significance of this problem. And if you're just tuning in, 912, Tom Trento, your host here with Susie Gold and everyone else. Laura Loomer is our guest right now for a couple of minutes. She's running in the 21st Congressional District. She's the Republican nominee to unseat Lazy Lois. That's going to happen. We got in a couple of minutes Peter Feaman, the mouthpiece, my mouthpiece for many years, and he's also a distinguished attorney, obviously, and he is the national committeeman for the Republican National Committee. He's going to help us with our closing arguments on the issue of the Constitution, the Democrat Party versus the Republican Party. Right now, briefly, we're talking about the suppression in the legacy media. The legacy media would be the three networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the two cables, MSNBC, which is NBC, and CNN. Absolute suppression of Tony Bobulinski. He's a naval officer, career naval officer. His father was a career naval officer. And out of duty to his country, when the Biden said that the Russians were sending comprompt to Rudy Giuliani, they made him look like some sort of Russian stooge fool, and he came out of a private life to take a stand for his family's legacy in the military. But if we have the press suppressing the largest breaking story for investigative journalists, and then we have Laura being the victim of the social media, which has become the press, being victimized and prohibited from speaking there. Where does anybody who's a conservative speak out? That's why it's so important to vote for Republicans, ladies and gentlemen, in 6 days. Laura, how if you're in Congress, how are you going to solve this problem or work to solve this problem?
Well, one of the things I just said is that we need to fight for free speech. That's why I decided to run for Congress. And to address the issue with the media, there needs to be legislation prohibiting foreign entities from owning or influence American news companies. It's unacceptable. And the American people are not going to get news that's in their best interest, reporting the facts of what's happening in American politics when foreigners are controlling the narrative. Okay, that's actually a national security threat when you think about it. These big tech social media companies and the tyrants, some of them, like Mark Zuckerberg, they're going to be testifying in front of the Senate today, but they need to go to jail. They've committed perjury. You know, my friend Roger Stone was almost sent to prison, and they accused him of lying to Congress. Well, why are there two sets of rules, right? Why do you go to prison if you're a Republican, but if you're a billionaire in Silicon Valley, banning conservatives, trying to interfere in the election, banning the president on Twitter, right? Why are they not going to jail for lying to Congress about not censoring conservatives, right? We need to uphold the law equally. And there needs to be antitrust. There needs to be antitrust laws because these companies are monopolies. They're coordinating with each other. And you and I know this, Tom, because we worked together in the past. You know, they start to ban people based off their associations. So when I was banned everywhere and they shut me down from PayPal, they banned you, right? When Comcast came after me recently for my campaign, they came after you, right? They came after the United West.
Yep.
And so it's really scary what they're doing. And it's
Thanks,
totally
Laura.
illegal.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Laura.
thanks a lot, Laura.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And you know what, Laura, and to all the listeners, another reason to vote Laura Loomer and Donald Trump.
Donald Trump voted for Laura Loomer.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, to ensure that we do get information that is accurate. And if they're going to call it news, make sure that it's impartial so that we as the listeners can make our own decisions and not be fed information and be brainwashed. So thank you, Laura. We look forward to you filling that seat, unseating Lazy Lois and representing.
Well, 6 days left. 6 days left. If you haven't
got it.
voted,
6 days
the line's
left.
over.
Thank you so
Vote
much.
Laura Loomer. Tell all your friends vote Laura Loomer because we're going to unseat her.
Amen.
Good
There
job.
you go.
Unseat Lazy Lois.
Thank you so much for joining us, Laura.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
we
Have a
look
good day.
forward to hearing good news from your campaign. Good news for you
Thank you.
and all of us.
Thank you.
And now I'd
Thanks.
like to welcome, we have Peter Feaman on the line. Peter, are you with us? Good morning. Nice to see you.
I'm on the line,
again.
and I think you can see me as well.
There
Yep,
you
we
go.
can see
Susie.
you. Great to have you on. A pleasure. We
Morning,
did a
Tom.
brief introduction a little bit earlier, but Peter, for those who didn't hear, he's the National Committee man, which is actually it's an elected position for the Republican Party. And he's also an attorney with none other than Peter Feaman, PA. so welcome to the
Peter,
show.
What we've been doing for 2 years, the United West, with a group of other activists and educational organizations, mobilizing 1,000,001 evangelicals, additional evangelicals, because of that universe of non-voting evangelicals. But for this last week, we're presenting closing arguments on the substantive issues that are relevant to people who hold to a Judeo-Christian political philosophy. And today we're looking at, yesterday and today, the U.S. Constitution and which party adheres most definitively to the principles articulated by the founders, by the Federalist Papers, and by the statutory and federal law that has come down for 242 years. You're in the middle of all that. Give us the answer.
That's a rhetorical question, right? I mean, we all know the answer here. Obviously, it's the Republican Party, the party of freedom, the party of prosperity, the party of family traditional values, the party of the Constitution, and the party that understands the principle of not only our founders, but the principle of those that first settled this great continent. When they founded this land, John Winthrop wrote about 400 years ago, we are approaching a new Jerusalem, a city on a hill, and we will be a light to the world. No truer prophetic words were ever spoken than John Winthrop. And then the Mayflower Compact, which came after, which said, or came around about the same time, which said that our rights come from God, not a pharaoh, not a dictator, not a monarch, nor from any form of government, but from Almighty God himself. Thomas Jefferson, taking up that mantle, then wrote the Declaration of Independence when he said, we're all endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights. Or if I was Joe Biden, I'd say we're all endowed by, well, you know the rest.
You know the rest of
You
it.
get it. Because I don't think he can bring himself to say the word creator. But indeed, our rights come from our Creator, Almighty God, the Judeo-Christian God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and Jesus the Christ. And so for the first time in world history, a government was formed not to dispense rights, but to protect rights, to protect the rights that come from God and God alone. And so now here we are, 200 some odd years later, and those rights, that form of government is now under the gravest attack it's had in 160 years. The last election we had that was this important was 160 years ago. Donald Trump said it the other day. I think he must have been reading my Facebook post. But it was 1860 when our first Republican candidate ran against a Democrat candidate, and the choices are frighteningly similar. We have a choice between freedom and bondage. We have a choice between independence or dependence on government. We have 6 days to save America. We have 6 days to keep what has been the greatest country in the history of Earth, still the greatest country in the history of Earth. The time is now. This is the place. The world looks on. What will we do? What will we show the world? I predict that once again, the American people will rise up, recalling their history, recalling our faith, and saying to the world, yes, we still are a beacon of hope. We still are a light to the world, and we're going to vote for freedom. We're going to vote for Donald Trump and every other Republican up and down the ballot, including Laura Loomer. Thank you, Tom.
Amen. Amen.
Why do we let these haters on our show, Tom?
Yeah, I
These
know.
haters, just
Everybody
hate,
here
spewing their
has a-
hate, spewing their hate all over the place.
Everybody has a million questions for you.
I noticed that Mr. Feaman did not mention Muhammad when he mentioned all of these others.
Nah, I'm sorry about that, sir. I see that you're back on the show. That's very good because this is an all-inclusive broadcast. So we're glad to have you here.
That's
Yes,
right.
The God of Abraham and Isaac, not the God of Abraham and Ishmael, but that's a subject for another.
That's
discussion.
another issue, right? But Damon, you are recently here from living in Israel for 4 years. Peter just ripped off the history of the United States that probably 2% of the people in the
know
country
about.
understand.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Any questions for Peter?
Peter is absolutely right on absolutely everything he said. And
Could you tell my wife that?
but it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show and the press. The media, the legacy media has absolutely failed this country. The press is supposed to be the protector of the public against a corrupt government. Instead, they are protecting a corrupt government. And I'm really afraid that unless you happen to watch a little Fox News, which a lot of people treat it as the cooties, they won't watch it. A great deal of America has no idea about the Biden bombshell.
Right.
And to me, the media is worse than the Democrat Party. Okay, I expect the Democrat Party to do all these shenanigans. The media, to me, is a worse evil than the Democrat Party itself.
Exactly. No, it's true.
Well, I can tell you that the Democrat National Committee, my counterpart, I represent Florida at the RNC, the Republican National Committee. The Democrat National Committee is very fortunate because they have the entire corporate media infrastructure as their communications operation. I wish the Republican National Committee had that. We don't even have Fox, as you know, because Fox is gotten a little slippery in the last couple of years now that Mr. Murdoch Sr. Has relinquished some of the control of his publishing organization. So it's amazing. But you know what? Tom and Susie and Damon and all the rest of you great patriots. I've been a trial attorney for 40 years. And when I give a closing argument, I quite often say, I believe more than anything else in the common sense and the wisdom of the ordinary folks of this country. And I address 6 people in a jury, and I say to them, rely on your collective experience and your common sense. Look around, listen to the facts, look at everything, and then apply the common sense that you've gotten as a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, and see what's happening, and then make the choice that makes sense. And
But
in this case, ladies and gentlemen, the only choice that makes sense is Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump, or we descend into an abyss like we've never seen before. You think the riots are bad now? Just watch. So
the problem is the public is being denied. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The problem is the public is being denied the information to make a proper decision.
Those that choose that, yes, but then there's shows like this and the United West that are filling a void, filling a gap in what's out there. And thank goodness for what you guys do. Thank goodness for appealing to the people who might not be able to see what Fox News put on last night. The Tucker Carlson show last night was explosive. It was a bombshell. It was scary. It was historic. And that message must get out in these last 6 days. But I want to leave you with this. We have been working for 4 years to reelect Donald Trump. We knew in January of 2017, when I was in Washington, D.C., and was accosted by the rioters, pushed off the sidewalk onto the grass by the guys wearing the black masks, we knew right then that we were going to have to work nonstop for 4 years to get this man reelected so he could continue to drain the swamp and save America. I'm confident that the work that all of you have put in, that we've put in over these last 4 years, will bear the fruit that we want to see on Tuesday. Now, we may not be able to see that fruit until Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday, but we'll keep it up. And in the end, I really believe in my heart of hearts that we're going to prevail. And I don't think God is.
Peter, I have a question for you. Okay, 1 minute. The question's a bit. Okay. Okay, wait, I'm very verbose today. But no, Tom and I were talking this morning, if you saw, the Biden rally, there were like 20 people in circles.
No, it's 857. 857.
What are you talking about?
857 at the rally. That's what we were told by the media.
Biden's. Okay.
Oh, by the media.
No,
okay.
By the
Show
media.
The picture.
Well,
show the evidence.
Yeah, I mean, So I mean,
go.
here you have these alien ships that landed in circles, and here you have 20 people. You look at the Trump rallies and the enthusiasm, that's generated, and the excitement and the love for our president. In the thousands and thousands. In Wisconsin, there were 30,000 inside, 30,000 outside. How do you explain the nonsense of these polls? When you talk about enthusiasm, it's not there for the Biden party. Nobody's out. Nobody's waving flags. I haven't seen hats with say Biden on it. I don't see, you look around across America and I see riots, but I don't see anything for Biden, but certainly a lot of happiness and joy and love for our president. In numbers, large numbers.
Is that the question?
Wait. Oh, that was a minute. Wait, but the question is, how do you explain the polls?
I
Don't
this.
use the word bold of something. You gotta be careful. On the radio.
Those ignorant of history are doomed to repeat it. A lot of great people have said that. And these pollsters haven't really changed their methodology all that much from 2016. They are overlooking the hundreds of thousands of people that we have registered to vote over these last 4 years who have never registered to vote before. There's no way a poll could pick that up because they sample voters and likely voters. How do they get that population pool? They have to go back to the 2016 election. But if you didn't vote in the 2016 election, then you're not going to be sampled. And we've picked up just in Florida over 100,000 new voters in the last 4 years. Those aren't being sampled. And if they're new voters because they decided to come to a Trump rally, we feel pretty good that they're going to vote for Donald Trump. That's why the polls still
very
don't
interesting
matter.
analysis.
And I just noticed something on the photograph. It's such a Hollywood setup with Joe Biden. Look, they got a dolly track. They got a
look at the track.
They got a dolly track. You couldn't do
on
that. You couldn't do that in a Trump rally. I mean, you're running over people. It's such
They're
a Hollywood
filming a
production.
commercial. That's what they're doing. For those of you not watching, and you should go to theunitedwest.org, theunitedwest.org. You can watch our show, or it's simulcast on all the radio, WNN 95.3, 1470 AM. If you look at this picture, it is pretty comical. Follow the science. If you're 6 feet apart, you don't need a mask, right? These people are about 20 feet apart. They got masks, and they're outside. And I mean, what they need next is like the dome of silence, that Get Smart had over each one. We should tell Biden, and he'll mandate it for everybody in the world.
Where's his restaurant plexiglass?
Yeah, restaurant plexiglass.
Unbelievable.
It's the invasion of the pod people.
That's what it looks like. So, hey, Peter, we know you're busy, and we know, listen, ladies and gentlemen,
Gotta go.
when that argument takes place, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and there's a battle, Peter will be sleepless in Florida, straight through. He's one of the leading attorneys fighting for the rights of everyone. You want a true and valid election, regardless of what direction it goes. You don't want this chicanery and malarkey and all of that stuff. All right, Peter, we'll see you. Take care. Have a very good day.
Thanks so much,
Okay,
Peter.
thanks. Keep it up, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, here's where we are. Tom Trento, Susie Gold, you having fun today?
Yeah. Well, this
Time's flying by.
unbelievable.
It's a Susie Gold show today. She's
The
having
Susie
fun.
here, I'm going to be the contrarian. I'm going to throw cold water on this thing for a second. Here's my concern.
We got someone else online now.
All right, I'm going to bring her on in a minute. Here's my concern. As someone who has done this for a long time and followed the ability to think in the academy and going all the way through the institute, whether it's law or medicine or education or Hollywood or whatever. Point one, if you have a body of people that coalesce around a contract, then you have parameters in which you fight to make decisions. If everyone's in agreement with the contractual terms, the Constitution. If you abandon the principles of the Constitution, if you abandon the terms of the contract, it's very difficult to get those people to even understand what you're talking about, let alone reach agreement. I will submit that the Democrats have abandoned the Constitution a long time ago, abandoned the Judeo-Christian worldview, and they cannot think constitutionally anymore.
No.
And the question is, there may be more of them than there are of us.
Mhm.
If there is, then we're going to have a problem on November 3rd. Now, I think God in his mercy will bring, and I'm very confident Trump's going to win, to bring back this 4 years to try to realign and recalibrate this mess we're in culturally. But if we lose, you're going to see the judgment of God in this country like you've never seen before. Hi, Karyn, on that happy note. How are you doing?
It's a defining moment in time.
She's got to unmute herself.
Can't hear
you gotta
you.
unmute.
You could introduce Karyn.
Yeah, Karyn, you have to unmute.
Can't hear you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good morning, Karyn. I'm so happy, we all are, that you were able to join on this morning. I know you had a very exciting evening last night that you're going to tell us about. So Karyn was at the rally in Miami, of which Ivanka Trump was the keynote speaker. So tell us, first of all, how many people attended?
I'm not sure exactly how many but it was well attended, and she is just lovely. She's like, she's talking to you as though you're her friend. Sarah Sanders was there as well, Mercedes Schlepp. I mean, they're just, they're mothers. And she spoke about what her father has accomplished and how important it is to reelect him. And she brought up so many, they spoke a lot in Spanish. Mercedes did, because of all of the Latins that were there from South America. It was prominent. It was very well attended.
I think we have a piece of video, don't we, that you shot?
Well, I'm going through screenshots right now.
Oh, we have a couple of screenshots. You can comment on them. What do we have there, Karyn? Karyn, let me introduce Karyn. She is one of the founders and driving forces behind Jexit, Jews Exiting the Democrat Party. And there we go. And we have obviously Michelle Terrace, Sophia, Karyn, many others involved, and many men involved. And Jexit was there. It is. There's Sophia standing.
Sophia.
Is that Bayfront Park in Miami?
It is.
Okay.
That's where We Are Hamas, We Are Jihad was filmed.
Yep, right over there, not far from where she's standing.
I just would like to correct you. I'm not a founder. Michelle is the only founder of Jexit. I work very closely with Michelle, and I'm a board member. But just to be clear on that,
Okay.
I don't want to take kudos for anything I haven't done.
All right, but you've been there.
She's been
right
there
at the
really
beginning.
from the beginning. Yeah.
Almost.
I remember when we were in Israel together with the United West, and I
That
inspired.
Tom's responsible for all
That's right.
of
I
that.
remember we had a
It's always
conversation.
fault.
She was very inspired to
name-
do something to wake up the Jewish community.
His name is Frankenstein, not Frankenstein. Okay, Tom Trento's name. For creating
Karyn
the
and I
monsters.
met in D.C. in 2015. I had walking pneumonia. It was cold. How cold was it, Karyn?
I had on a fur coat, fur boots, and a cashmere scarf. I tried to give you and Trevor at least my scarf because you had on a sports jacket.
I gave Trevor my hat that I lost, Trevor Loudon. We were there because Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, was visiting President Obama in one of his neglected visits, and you go in the back door, Netanyahu, you Zionist, you, and we held a pro-Netanyahu rally because he was going to speak to the U.S. Congress, which was very controversial on the Democrat side. Why is he speaking to the U.S. Congress? He was invited by Republicans, and that's where we met, and it's been
It was us
wonderful.
and a lot of bikers.
Yep.
We have the video. We have the
Ivanka?
Yeah, you want to play it?
All right, let's play a little bit. And she shot this, and it's horizontal, and she got good audio. Good job.
Disrupt more than 200 metric tons of narcotics since this April alone. Right here at home, President Trump is protecting our cherished rights and defending our sacred Constitution. Yesterday was a historic day for our nation. America gained our newest member of the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, all right. Good job.
Looks like you were right up front.
We were. Sophia and I were in the front row. And, we're kind of veterans at this rally thing. So we know how to maneuver.
You push your way right to the front. That's what you
Imagine
do.
that.
Yeah, right.
It was good. We had a wonderful time. I'm glad that I went. I'm glad I represented Jexit. At the end, Ivanka walked across between the stage and the seats. There was an area, a walkway, and she walked through. And Sophia has mastered the art of them seeing us, and she was able to hold our Jexit banner and got a thank you and a hand, from Ivanka. So, mission was accomplished. We like the White House to know that we're out there fighting for them.
Beautiful.
And I got a little quick side story. We were shooting at a promo for a billboard, and we needed a Jexit hat. and we could not find one anywhere.
No, we needed a MAGA hat.
MAGA hat.
MAGA hat.
MAGA
right.
hat. We could not find a MAGA hat anywhere, and it's how could
That's
all of us
bizarre.
not find a
That's
MAGA hat?
bizarre, I know.
So anyway, so we had to get one from Karyn, and here's the result, by the way, Karyn, of your MAGA. You see
There's
it?
your hat. Look
There's
at
your
that.
hat.
Yay, that's great. Big boy there.
That's great.
Yeah,
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
that guy voted. He's 39 years old. Yesterday was the first time he ever voted.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Damon, describe to the
Describe
people what we're looking at.
looking at. Yeah.
For those on the radio, it's a billboard that's up on I-95 today. It's got a small picture of goofy Joe Biden with the I'm lost look, and it says Joe
No,
says
it's the big guy in the middle.
okay. It's a friend of mine named Michael Morrison. He's about 5'7", almost 300-pound black man with a full beard,
He's a bouncer.
and he's wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat. And the billboard says, "Joe says I ain't black. I voted Trump 2020."
Yeah, look at that thing.
And
Yeah.
I've known Michael about 6 years or so, and we stayed in touch even while I was in Israel. And he said what's been going on the last 3 years is what motivated him to finally vote for the first time.
And let me show you you folks watching and you folks listening what the United West can do. And now here's a little appeal for funds. Damon was in with Michael yesterday. I met him here in the studio. And the idea was to have a video. You're going to shoot a video.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to shoot the video?
No. He's coming Thursday to shoot the
Okay.
video.
Shoot a video that he would put out, as a black guy supporting Donald Trump, a free-thinking black guy. And we're in the middle of designing billboards for the remaining week. And I said, hey, he'd make a good billboard. Boom, everybody goes, let's do it. And then there was the search for the hat and calling 50 different stores. And I couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it. Could not find a MAGA hat.
A red
Yeah,
MAGA hat.
yeah.
Couldn't find it.
Even in Halloween costume stores.
And I
had to
can't believe we didn't have 50 of them laying in a box somewhere.
That's really pathetic.
You had to drive 20 miles or so to
To find-
Karyn to
yeah,
get the
to get
hat.
the hat.
And then did you come back here to shoot it?
Yeah.
And then put it
I kissed
together.
Karyn by. She says, I'm heading to Miami. Bye.
Sent it when it was done. Look, the graphic is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I sent it off to the billboard
Oh.
company. I was
Mark, you did a
thinking-
great job.
Oh, I didn't tell you
Great.
the close of the story. I sent it to Judge Janine last night, and she sends back, "Oh, I love it," and kiss.
Oh,
That's great.
And I thought the billboard company may not go with Biden says you ain't black, I ain't black. But they just said, hey, it's great, got approved, and it's up on 95 and Sterling Road right now in Broward County, and it's going to be moving around. It's going to come up here. So what amazing work.
great.
Send money so we can keep doing this, ladies and gentlemen. We need about between 50, 75,000
And the
Yeah.
good
to
thing
finish
about
the
this,
year. I'm doing money stuff. 50 to 75,000, $5 donations, $10, whatever. That's to get to the rest of the year. We're not going away after November 3rd, and we're going to be needed even more when Donald Trump wins and the crazies get crazy. You want us, the firemen on the front lines, putting out the fires. We just need a little bit of crazy metaphor.
And what listeners need to understand is that this is money well provided. First of all, we're all volunteers here. So sometimes people say, well, they're working on, I don't want to pay anybody's salary. But you have to know that what monies you do donate here is used directly to get information out into the public's hands and out into the community. And of course, we're worldwide. So the impact we have is far reaching. So your monies are used directly to help educate. So here we are talking this morning about the media. What you're getting here is honest media. What you're getting here is information that you need to have that tells the story, a broader story of what's going on within our country and what's at risk here this election. And like Tom said, it's not just what's going to occur through to the election, but afterwards. There's going to be an aftermath either way. We are counting on Donald Trump. If God forbid, the dark side of our country comes out and Biden wins. Either way, we have a big problem in this country. First of all, educating the youth, making sure the next generation is going to ensure that we maintain our freedoms. And then also there's a lot to be certain of with regard to Marxism, with regard to these progressive ideas that they're not just going to go away, poof. but work needs to be done. So you need to be a part of that. You need to help us. You need to help keep people informed, and that's where your money would go.
And in the second half of the Susie Gold show, we will talk about.
Sorry.
No, but she's very good with that.
I want to bring up one quick point about the whole billboard thing, and to highlight what Susie's talking about is we didn't buy these billboards. We didn't shell out any. So donations that came in, we didn't go out and buy billboards. We basically stole the billboards. Tom, would you say we basically stole
they
them?
were donated. They were donated.
Well, kind of, but we stole.
No,
We don't steal.
No, we don't steal. But some people put them up and
they just-
asked our advice on the messaging.
Right.
We helped them with the first one, which was Bloomberg giving $100 million to buy Florida's vote for Biden. We said good, and then we said, you know what, we're in
I
touch.
appreciate that.
We're on the ground here. We can come up with some great messaging, and it's
Yeah.
digital. We can
And they
move
said, "Go
fast.
for
And,
it," yeah.
and they said, all yours,
So
go do it, man.
so
And
we
we've been
stole-
doing a
so we
hell
stole-
of a job, let me tell you.
We stole the billboards.
Yeah, we stole.
No, we didn't. We were in charge of the messaging.
If we had money, we would have bought
What
them
a-
because they're very good.
You're very good.
Yep, and they're impacting. All right, Susie Gold show. What's next?
Oh gosh, what you know what we're supposed to be talking about, right? From that we have
I got something.
closing arguments, right? So in other words, these last few days is what we are doing is we are having a conversation about the culmination of all the education, all the speakers that we have had, all the guests to talk about what is going on to help educate America, make America think again. So we have closing arguments. So I want to Tom to address that.
Okay.
What's our closing argument for today?
All right, tomorrow,
Not tomorrow, today.
tomorrow, we're making closing arguments on the Constitution, but there's other hot button issues. Tomorrow, we're going to show a video that Alan West has highly recommended. It's on the Second Amendment, and it's by, remember that very sad situation, the guy in the church pulls out an AR and starts killing people in the church, and the guard, guy who was serving as a guard, pulls out his gun, shoots across the
Deadeye,
and hits him in the head and kills him. That guy put a video together on Biden and Harris's grab for the Second Amendment. It's about a 4-minute video. It's phenomenal. We're going to show that. So that's going to be on the Second Amendment element of closing arguments. They make a great closing argument for us. Also tomorrow, we're going to look at the nature of the family, closing argument on the family. And we have video of a 13-year-old genderless person who is now the pride of the homosexual movement, the hardcore progressive Marxist movement. And this 13-year-old person is genetically a male, but identifies as a female. And you're going to listen to this kid talk, and while he's dressing up as a girl, and this is wholeheartedly, fully endorsed by the Democrat Party. The fluidity of gender, the intersectionality of individuals. These are new constructions of ethics, of morality, and constitutional principles. These are part of our closing
I
arguments.
was absolutely amazed at Biden's response to that during the last debate when he said 8-10-year-olds should be free to pick their gender.
shocking
That
or
was,
what?
I almost fell out of my chair.
I mean, really, I didn't even know what clothes to put on at 8 years old. You know, my mom dressed me. Okay, I was just like, what's up? You know.
I know, and so we have some interesting stuff coming out on the constitutional. Before I get to the constitutional issue, very quickly, we are very proud, humbled and proud, the United West, to have been asked to participate in the nomination. I need a drum roll. In the nomination. Oh, we still have Karyn with us.
Hi, Karyn.
Hi, Karyn. You can hang out. Karyn, we're going to let you go. Give us a 1-minute statement on Jexit. Who are you, and what do people need to do per your mission?
Jexit is a not-for-profit organization. We try to educate and inform and enlighten Americans. You know, we work on the Jews, but that's a more difficult subject. So we have collaborated with you, which is wonderful, and the Christians. And you can find us on our Facebook page. You can find us at jexitusa.org is our website. And of course, we accept donations as well, but we want to keep Tom on there. So I'm not going to plug for money.
They can write 2 checks. They can write 2 checks.
There you go. Okay. And just, you know, support us. We have an Instagram and a Twitter account as well.
And for those who don't know, what does Jexit stand for?
Jews exiting the Democratic Party.
What a great name.
Hoy,
Yeah.
What do you mean exiting the Democrat Party?
Thanks to
And we
Michelle
have 2
Clara.
Jews
I
here.
didn't know there was another party.
Is that Schmucky Putznick?
Yes, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. But you voted a few years ago Republican for the first
Yes,
time.
it was the first time I voted for Mr. Klein against little Debbie Wasserschmutz.
So who are you going to be voting for this year, Schmucky?
Oh, President Trump, he is the greatest friend of Israel in the history of American politics.
Oh, there we go.
I love that man.
There you go. He would be a mensch? Is that what it is?
Oh,
He
he's a
is a
mensch and
mensch.
then some.
I like the schmuck. He's good.
Schmucky Putznick.
I'd like to also
I
add-
was Jexit before Jexit.
That's right. You predated Jackson. You predated, I think, the reptilian age or something.
Yes.
All right, Karyn. Thanks a lot. Keep up
My
the great
pleasure.
work
Thanks, Tom. I hope you guys have a great day.
and party at the studio on
You're
Friday.
doing God's work, young lady.
Thank
Party
you,
at the
Damon.
studio on Friday. So, all right. Well, we are honored and privileged to have been asked to participate in nominating President Donald J. Trump for his 5th Nobel Prize. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Fifth nomination, not fifth Nobel Prize.
The nomination for the prize in 2021.
Right.
And Dr. Peter Pry, good friend of ours for many years, who's the world's eminent analyst, CIA background, all of that on the EMP, electromagnetic pulse bomb, energy from the sun, everything else. He has put together a presentation on the validity of the nomination based upon Donald Trump's confrontation with Kim Jong-il in North Korea, when the Obama administration told Trump the most difficult thing you have is dealing with that guy and probably going to be a war. And Trump came out blasting Little Rocket Man and all the machinations, and there's peace and stability, and he's the first sitting president ever to go into the demilitarized zone in between North Korea and South Korea. So based upon all of this, Peter Pry is he has the credentials to nominate, and he asked for 2 or 3 people, organizations, to support it with him, and we're one of the organizations, and we signed on. So I think that's a first for us, signing on to
a Nobel Peace Prize nomination.
Yeah, pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So we'll see where that goes.
So it's
Probably
a
going to go
real-
nowhere.
It's a real nomination, right?
It's a real nomination. We'll see. We'll see if the Nobel people.
Does
with
anyone
it.
know what Obama won his Nobel Peace Prize for? What
the actual
what did he
citation?
do to get that? Does anyone know? I'm being serious.
No, he actually got it before he did anything.
Yeah. It was based on what he was
Going
may
going
do.
to do. Yeah, what he was going to do. Peace in the world.
I want awards like that.
Yeah, he didn't
Mark-
do anything.
Mark-
He had
Mark,
just been
we're-
elected.
We're awarding you the World Series championship.
Before you even
we play
played his
baseball.
last game. Yeah.
I think he
don't know.
got
Do you
it
know
for
the
all the cash he gave to
I'm
Iran.
serious. I don't know what he did to get it.
Well, when you get it, there has to be a little first
Thing that says
paragraph
what
that
you
says
did.
you get this because if somebody can look that up of the 25 people on the show, maybe we can do that. That would be pretty good, but it's a good question. Look, the bottom line, you can't enter into purchasing a home or an automobile or a timeshare unit or even an Airbnb. Even when you go rent a hotel room, you contract with the entity where you have an agreement on an exchange of money, an exchange of goods, an exchange of services, and you have commonality in your thinking as to what this new relationship is. Moving out from there, our framers, you got it?
Yeah.
What is it? Why do you get, now we're going to find out why President Obama got his Nobel
Very
Prize.
vague.
Prize was awarded to President Barack Obama for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between the people. The committee said that he's fostering a new climate in international relations fostered by the Obama, especially reaching out to the Muslim world.
Oh, you mean when he brought about the
Oh.
Arab Spring that destroyed millions of lives?
Well, all that, everything, all the words up
And
to
all the cash he gave to Iran.
Iran, everything, all the words you used until the Muslim world was just as Jack Cole used to say, backguana, right? Backguana. It was just nonsense. I mean, but then it was the Muslim world. So that's his reaching out, apologizing for the U.S. Yeah, that worked out real well. And now
so this is interesting.
Then Trump should get 5 awards for what he's done in the Middle East.
This is from the BBC News. The Nobel Secretary regrets Obama Peace Prize.
That was nonsense. It was complete nonsense.
Whereas Trump has created the first Israeli-Arab peace accords in over a quarter of a century. What he did with North Korea, I'm not even going to get into more, but I mean, the prize itself turned into a joke when they gave it to Obama.
When they gave it to Obama.
And he even said it to him. He even announced, he goes, I don't know why I'm getting this thing.
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. He did say that.
he did.
He was scratching his head. Well, we got a couple of minutes left, and the closing argument for the Constitution is very simple. It is a document that has served this country extremely well, from the Declaration in 1776, the signing of the Constitution in 1787. Go see National Treasure with what's his name? Nicholas
Cage.
Nicholas Cage.
Nick
It
Cage.
is great. But on the back of the Declaration of Independence is a secret, invisible message. It's really very historical and a lot of fun. But they shoot it in D.C. and Philadelphia.
And also John Voight's in it too.
John Voight is in it. Does a good job. Our buddy John Voight. I'm trying to get him on the show here. But this document has served the country well. Progressive means leave the principles of the Constitution, go toward a Marxist view, which is equality and from everyone who has a lot to those who don't, the redistribution of property, of wealth, all of that, over against the principles of the Constitution. Those are the two positions, a Marxist view or a constitutional republic. Those are the two entities we're looking at. If you look at the Republican Party, you look at the Democrat Party, one is a constitutional republic, one is progressive. You see AOC and Ilhan Omar salivating that Biden's going to win, and they're going to be part of the process to progressively move the country toward Somalia.
That's basically why the left flipped out at Barrett's confirmation, is she's a constitutionalist, not a Marxist.
Yep, exactly. So, boom, on the first closing argument, the Republican Party, the Republican principles. I haven't even mentioned Donald Trump. He stands defending them, but the Republican Party holds to the Constitution. The Democrat Party doesn't. Republicans win on that argument.
Great.
Hey, close your show, Susie.
Close the Susie Gold show. You got 15 seconds.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. We have another great show tomorrow morning. Tune in at 9 a.m. That is 1470 a.m., 96.9 FM on WWNN. And make sure you go to theunitedwest.org and make your donations today.
Good show. We'll do the Trump shuffle. To the left.